Qui Gon Jinn should have died on Naboo. In the old history, Darth Maul's blade ended him. In this timeline, the strike missed his heart by inches. Obi-Wan still defeated Maul, but victory came with a scar that never healed. While healers worked, Qui-Gon lay awake and replayed the battle. The Sith had returned. The Jedi Council had doubted, delayed, and nearly lost everything. Naboo had burned. A queen had nearly fallen. A boy touched by destiny had been thrown into war. Qui-Gon had bled for all of it. When he finally rose, he was not the same man. He still believed in the Force. He still believed the Sith had to be stopped. But he no longer believed the Jedi Order had the will to do it. The Council wanted caution. Qui-Gon wanted action. The Council wanted patience. Qui-Gon had seen what patience cost. He took Anakin as his Padawan and began teaching him with new intensity. Not cruelty, not yet, but there was iron in every lesson now. Fear could not rule the boy. Hesitation could not guide him. If the Sith attacked again, Anakin would be ready. Obi-Wan noticed the shift first. Qui-Gon questioned every rule. He pushed every boundary. He spent long nights in the archives, digging into ancient prophecies, forbidden battles, and lost Force practices the Order had sealed away. If the light alone could not defeat the dark, then perhaps the light had been fighting with one hand tied behind its back. Even Yoda felt the storm building inside him. Then came the spark that changed everything. A Republic intelligence report reached Coruscant. Maul's ship records had been erased by someone with influence deep inside the Senate. The Sith had not just survived, they had already spread their shadow into the heart of the Republic. At Maul's funeral, Qui-Gon stared into the flames and made a silent vow. He would find the hidden Sith Master himself, and this time he would not wait for the Jedi Council to give him permission. Qui-Gon kept his vow in silence. Outwardly, he remained a Jedi Master, calm and measured. In private, he had begun to drift. The Council's warnings no longer sounded wise to him. They sounded afraid. The report from Naboo stayed with him. A hidden Sith Master had reached into the Senate, erased records, and vanished without a trace. Yet the Council still spoke of patience, balance, and procedure. To Qui-Gon, that was not balance. That was surrender dressed as discipline. So he searched alone. By night, he entered sealed archive chambers beneath the temple. He studied the fall of ancient Jedi who had faced the dark and survived. He read of Force techniques the Order had locked away for being too dangerous, too aggressive, too close to anger. Battle meditation fueled by will, mind probes that tore through deception, methods for crushing fear before it could spread. At first, he told himself he was only learning what the enemy might use. Then he started asking a darker question. What if these powers were dangerous only because weak hands feared them? Anakin noticed the change in his master. Lessons became harder. Meditation became war against emotion. Qui-Gon pushed him to stand inside fear, pain, and loss without breaking. "The Sith will not fight fair," he said. "So you must be stronger than fair." Obi-Wan confronted him in the temple gardens. Qui-Gon did not deny anything. He simply said the Order had spent centuries hiding from harsh truths. Obi-Wan heard the anger beneath the wisdom, and it frightened him. Even Yoda began watching from a distance. Then Qui-Gon found something buried in a forbidden holocron. It spoke of a path between Jedi and Sith, a way to wield darkness without serving it. A lie, perhaps, or a weapon. For Qui-Gon, it was hope. That night, he activated the holocron in secret. Crimson light filled the chamber, and from the darkness, a voice began to teach. Qui-Gon embraced the holocron's lessons slowly at first. He did not call them dark, he called them necessary. Every secret technique, every forbidden trial, every brutal meditation had one purpose: prepare Anakin Skywalker for the war the Jedi refused to see. Training changed. The old balance of patience and trust was replaced by pressure. Qui-Gon drove Anakin before sunrise and long after nightfall. Lightsaber drills became tests of endurance. Force lessons became contests of control. He taught the boy to move through pain, to sharpen fear into focus, and to strike before an enemy could think. Anakin grew stronger with terrifying speed. He could sense danger earlier. He could push harder in combat. He could break battle droids apart with raw force power when anger touched his thoughts. Part of him loved it. part of him feared how much he loved it. Qui-Gon saw both sides and fed only one. Power is not evil, he told him. Only those too weak to guide it. Obi-Wan watched from the edge, disturbed by what Anakin was becoming. The boy laughed less. He questioned less. He obeyed more. There was still kindness in him. Still the bright heart Qui-Gon had found on Tatooine. But now it sat behind armor built from discipline and buried emotion. The Council sensed the shift as well. Mace Windu warned that Anakin's training was becoming dangerous. Qui-Gon pushed back without apology. If the Sith returned, he said, the Order would need warriors, not monks hiding behind rules written in gentler times. Then the first real test arrived. A terrorist cell tied to Sith agents struck a Republic convoy near Corellia. Qui-Gon brought Anakin instead of waiting for orders. In the burning wreckage, the boy unleashed his anger, and for the first time, Qui-Gon did not stop him either. The attackers fell in seconds. The survivors stared at Anakin in fear, not gratitude. And as Qui-Gon looked into his Padawan's eyes, he saw something new staring back. Not a boy, not yet a Jedi, but a weapon that was finally waking up. Qui-Gon did not wait for the Council anymore. After Corellia, he followed every rumor tied to Maul's old network, black market routes, hidden safe houses, dead informants, and mercenaries paid in untraceable credits. Wherever the trail led, he went, with Anakin beside him. The hunt dragged them through the shadows of the Republic. On Nar Shaddaa, Qui-Gon tore secrets from a crime lord's mind and called it justice. On Malastare, he struck first against armed smugglers before they could surrender. Each step took him closer to the Sith, but farther from the man he had once been. Anakin saw it all. He saw how fear opened doors that diplomacy never could. He saw enemies break when Qui-Gon let anger sharpen his will. He also saw results. Cells tied to Maul vanished. Supply lines burned. Hidden agents ran. For the first time, the Sith were being hunted. Obi-Wan tried to pull them back. He warned that this mission was becoming a crusade. Qui-Gon answered with cold certainty, "The Sith live in darkness. Then darkness is where I will meet them." Even Anakin began to feel the weight of that path. The victories came faster, but peace never followed. Every captured contact revealed another layer, another lie, another sign that Maul had not acted alone. Someone larger was still moving pieces across the galaxy. At last, on a forgotten moon in the mid-rim, Qui-Gon found a ruined outpost marked with Maul's sigils. Inside, the walls were lined with records, weapons, and surveillance files on senators, Jedi, and trade leaders. This was no lone assassin's camp. It was part of a war map. Then a voice echoed from the dark corridor behind them. "Still chasing shadows, Master Jinn." Maul had survived, and he was not alone this time. A second saber ignited nearby. Qui-Gon had found Darth Maul at last, but in that dark ruin he discovered something worse than survival. The Sith had been preparing for war, and now they were ready to strike back. The duel inside the ruined outpost ended in fire and failure. Maul and his shadowed ally fought only long enough to test Qui-Gon and Anakin, then vanished into collapsing tunnels rigged with charges. Qui-Gon escaped with fragments of data, but not with victory. Worse, he returned angrier than ever. The stolen files exposed pieces of a growing conspiracy across the Republic. Bribes, assassinations, supply chains, names tied to the Senate and trade guilds. But the evidence had been taken through methods the Council could not ignore. Witnesses spoke of Qui-Gon breaking minds for answers. Survivors on Malastare claimed he struck down men who had already thrown away their weapons. When summoned before the Council, Qui-Gon did not bow his head. He argued that the Sith had built an army in secret while the Jedi debated rules. Mace Windu called his actions reckless. Ki Adi Mundi called them dishonorable. Yoda sensed fear, anger, and pride twisting together inside him. Then came the final blow. Obi-Wan gave his report. He did not lie. He spoke of forbidden teachings, of brutal training, of Anakin's growing hunger for power. The chamber fell silent. Qui-Gon looked at his former Padawan not with rage, but with wounded disbelief. "The Order is already losing," Qui-Gon said. "You just cannot bear the truth." The Council moved at once. Qui-Gon was stripped of authority, ordered to surrender the Holocron, and forbidden from training Anakin any further. He refused. The Force surged through the chamber. Lamps shattered. Guards flew backward. Anakin froze between his master and the Order. In that terrible silence, Yoda gave Obi-Wan a command no student should ever hear: bring Qui Gon Jinn back, or stop him. And as Qui Gon fled the temple into Coruscant's endless night, Obi-Wan realized the next battle would not be against the Sith alone. Qui Gon was gone. The Jedi had named him Fallen, and now Obi-Wan had to choose between the Order he served and the Master he still loved. Obi-Wan had faced impossible choices before, but none like this. The Council ordered him to track Qui Gon across Coruscant, recover Anakin, and end the crisis before the fallen Master could disappear into the Republic's deeper shadows. It sounded simple. It was anything but. Qui Gon had been more than a teacher. He had been the voice that shaped Obi-Wan's life, the hand that guided him through doubt, loss, and war. Even now, Obi-Wan could not fully accept what the Council had declared. Fallen? Perhaps. Lost? Not yet. He found Anakin first. The boy had not returned to the temple. Instead, Obi-Wan tracked him to an abandoned landing platform high above the city. Anakin was angry, confused, and defensive. He insisted Qui-Gon was trying to save the galaxy while the Council hid behind fear. Obi-Wan saw how deeply those words had taken root. This was no longer a disagreement about rules. It was a battle for Anakin's soul. Before Obi-Wan could persuade him, Qui-Gon emerged from the darkness. He looked older in a single night, harder, yet his voice remained calm. He told Obi-Wan the Sith were moving faster than the Jedi understood. Senate allies were already shielding them. The Order would waste months arguing while the enemy prepared the next strike. "Come with me," Qui-Gon said. "Help me finish this." For one terrible moment, Obi-Wan almost did. Then temple guards arrived and the platform exploded into motion. Anakin ignited his blade to defend Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan raised his own, not against the boy, but to hold the line. Master and student stood on opposite sides of the same war. Qui-Gon did not stay to fight. He used the Force to tear a transport loose from its clamps, hurled debris across the platform, and escaped into the traffic lanes with Anakin at his side. Obi-Wan watched the transport vanish into Coruscant's endless night. He had failed to save his master. Worse, he may have lost Anakin too. Palpatine had waited for this fracture for years. Now the Jedi were divided. Qui-Gon was in exile. Obi-Wan was desperate. And Anakin was cut loose from the stable life he had known. To everyone else, the Republic looked shaken. To Palpatine, it looked perfect. From the Senate, he turned fear into policy. Emergency security votes passed with resistance after a string of attacks struck worlds along the rim. Those attacks were no accident. Maul carried them out on one side of the board, while hired militias loyal to Sith credits struck on the other. Each world that burned gave Palpatine more power. Each failure made the Jedi look weaker. Qui-Gon saw the pattern too late. He believed he was hunting the Sith network. In truth, he was being guided through it. Every clue led him where Palpatine wanted him, toward louder battles, harsher choices, and deeper isolation from the Jedi. By the time Qui-Gon realized the trap, the Chancellor had already reached Anakin. Palpatine approached the boy carefully. He never attacked Qui-Gon. He praised him. He spoke of strength, courage, and the cost of doing what weak men feared to do. He told Anakin that the Jedi would fear power they could not control. But Qui-Gon understood power. Qui-Gon understood him. The poison worked. Anakin began to see the Council as hypocrites, Obi-Wan as a jailer, and Palpatine as the one leader willing to admit the galaxy needed force, not faith. Qui-Gon tried to keep Anakin close, but every warning only sounded like control. Palpatine had twisted master and student into mirrors of the same fear. Then, the move came. Padme's transport was sabotaged over Coruscant, and the evidence pointed at the Jedi. As alarms screamed across the city, Anakin turned to Qui-Gon for the order that would change everything. Padme was falling, the Jedi were blamed, and in that single moment, Qui-Gon faced the truth he had been running from. The next command he gave Anakin might save them both, or destroy everything he had tried to protect. In the chaos above Coruscant, Qui-Gon made his choice. He hurled himself through the shattered hatch of Padme's falling transport, cut open the restraint locks, and dragged her toward an emergency pod before the ship tore apart. Anakin followed, using the Force with raw strength to hold twisted metal back. The pod blasted free and crashed into a lower traffic lane, leaving fire and sirens behind. Padme survived. But the trap worked. Within minutes, the holonet filled with lies. Jedi saboteurs. A failed coup. Witnesses bought by Palpatine repeated the story until panic did the rest. The Jedi Temple stood surrounded by fear. Only then did Qui Gon see the full shape of the game. His secret war had weakened the Order, isolated Anakin, and handed Palpatine the perfect crisis. He had wanted to destroy the Sith by any means necessary. Instead, he had helped the Sith set the galaxy on fire. For the first time since Naboo, certainty left him. They hid inside an abandoned power station while Coruscant shook. Obi-Wan found them there, not with soldiers, but alone. He came without backup and without his blade drawn. It was him, Qui Gon said. The Chancellor, the master behind Maul. Obi-Wan believed him. That was the cruelest part. He believed him, and still it changed nothing. The Council was trapped. The Senate was turning. If Qui Gon struck at Palpatine now without proof strong enough to shatter the lie, the Republic would see only another act of treason. Anakin refused to wait. Padme was hurt. The Jedi were hunted. The enemy was within reach. Rage pushed every word from him. Then we end this tonight. Years earlier, Qui Gon might have agreed. Strike hard, strike fast. End the threat before it spread. But now, looking at Anakin, he finally saw what his training had made. Not a guardian, not a free soul. A young man taught to master fear through control and solve pain through power. A weapon. And Qui Gon had forged it. So he did the one thing he had not done since surviving Maul's blade. He stopped. He let the silence sit. Then he told Anakin the truth. I was wrong. The words hit harder than any explosion. He admitted he had used the boy's fear. He admitted he had broken faith with the Jedi, with Obi-Wan, even with the Force itself. He had crossed line after line because he believed his purpose made him pure. But the dark side did not begin with lightning or murder. It began with the belief that only one man could decide what must be done. Palpatine believed that. So had he. Anakin shook with anger and grief. For a moment, Qui Gon thought the boy would turn away. Instead, Anakin asked the question that mattered most. What do we do now? Qui Gon turned to Obi-Wan. No master above student, no exile above knight, just two broken men standing in the wreckage of the same mistake. Together, they chose a path the Sith would never expect. Not vengeance, exposure. Padme, wounded but unbroken, used her Senate codes to contact allies outside Palpatine's control. Obi-Wan sent beacons to loyal Jedi. Qui-Gon gathered the records, the Holocron traces, the financial links, and every hidden thread he had kept in secret. This time, the truth would be carried into the light. Before the transmission could spread, Coruscant darkened. Power grids failed across the district. Shock troops in unmarked armor closed in on the station. Through the windows came the glow of approaching speeders. Then, a sound cut through the night. A double-bladed saber ignited below. Qui-Gon had finally seen the truth. The Sith did not win by force alone, they won. When good men believed only darkness could defeat darkness. And as Maul rose from the shadows, Qui-Gon reached for his lightsaber knowing the final battle was no longer for victory. It was for Anakin's soul.